5 years ago, I got cut from my pro academy and I took all of my stuff, moved 10,000 kilometers away from home at the age of 18, started at the first year NAIA program where I was actually homeless for the first 3 weeks being in the United States as an 18-year-old. And yeah, my agency scammed me at that point because I was in an environment I shouldn't have been in as a pro academy player. However, fast forward 5 years, I just played my final season as a D1 center back now. And last year alone, I signed a scholarship for over $100,000 full ride, paid for everything, and signed over $350,000 of scholarship during my college career, being able to basically finance my whole college time by myself, as well as moving across the country, living in 5 different states. And yeah, today I want to talk about this story and how I got to this point, but I'm going to talk about things that some of you know, some of you might don't know yet. But in order for that, I got to take you way back because I think childhood and the experiences we have in the youth play a crucial role within our development as players, but also as people. So I got to take you back to like my youth days, and I honestly had a great youth. My parents provided me with everything. I played soccer for my hometown club, SK Cast, for the guys that are listening to that, you guys know. And but at one point when I was about 12 or 13, I started to have the feeling that I want more. I want more than what I'm playing right now, and I want more. I kind of outgrew my environment of playing with my friends. So I made the step actually to go to my first academy. After everyone actually doubted me, I had a couple trials at some bigger pro academies in Germany like Borussia Dortmund, you guys probably know, and got rejected by several. But one little academy actually took me under their wing and said, hey, we see potential in you. And yeah, I went there, but it didn't start it easy. I was actually a bench player over there. Couldn't break into the starting 11, started doubting myself, started doubting my decision to take that next step. And I remember it like yesterday. There was like a training session where I didn't have a good training and I was so focused on not playing, so focused on the external, that I was so frustrated because in this moment I thought that everything I've given up to that moment, was it worth losing the friendship? Was it worth getting into arguments with friends about not going party, not going out on the weekends, about not going to the birthdays, sleepovers because you had a game the next morning, and it really made me question everything. But I kept on working, and then actually something happened against one of the biggest academies in the west of Germany, Erste FC Cologne, for those of you who know. We had a normal game in the Youth Bundesliga. I was on the bench, but then in the warm-up at this time, I was left back at this time, our left back injured himself and tore all his ligaments in his ankle in the warm-up. And my coach called me up and was, Jacob, you go in now. And I was like, what was going on? Saying that I haven't played for the whole season and now against one of the biggest teams, I was about to step in. So what actually ended up happening is we lost the game 9-1. So we got absolutely spanked, but I actually had a really good game. I played against someone called Jan Thielemann. You guys can look him up. He's playing for Erste FC Cologne now in the Bundesliga, pro player, won the U21 Euros as well with Germany, great player. And I had a really good game against him. In this game, I actually also played against Florian Wirtz, if you believe it or not. I played against Florian Wirtz in this game. He was unbelievable. But I had a really good game against them, and I personally shut down our left side. So the next game, we actually played against my future academy, Borussia Mönchengladbach. And again, since I had a good game last game and our left back was still injured, they put me on, they put me in. And I was so nervous because at that time Borussia Mönchengladbach, it was like always you look up to those players like crazy. I remember it, that you thought, oh, those players that play for the big academies, they're some different kind of players. They're I don't know, like they were so on another level for me. So I was really nervous to playing against those. But I ended up having the best game of my life. And a little side fact, the night before, my first ex-girlfriend broke up with me for the first time. And I don't know, this like kind of anger, sadness feeling turned into a superpower for me. Turned into an absolute superpower, and I had the best game of my career. Still one of the best games of my career that day. Was unbelievable. And that was the time where I got scouted actually by Borussia Mönchengladbach. So from not playing a whole season to 3 weeks later becoming offered a contract by one of the best academies in Germany was absolutely unbelievable, and just shows that if you keep working and you keep putting in the work, regardless of what, and you're ready when the opportunity arises, things can change like that in a snippet. And that was what it was for me. So fast forward a year, I started playing in my new academy. By the way, I finished up that season with my old first academy really well. I had a great year, great time. Thankful for everyone over there. And then I thought, oh, it would just continue like that. It would just continue like that. But you would think, new level, new challenges, completely new players, a completely new standard. And at first I had to adapt to that standard. And I remember like yesterday where I came into the weight room, and I always privilege myself with being someone that does the extra work, works really hard after the sessions, before the sessions. And at one point, everyone was doing it. Everyone was doing the extra work. Everyone was putting in the extra reps. So I didn't have my little advantage anymore. I couldn't take my profit of that advantage anymore. And I also had a coach that gave me a really tough time, to be quite honest. That was probably one of the lowest moments I've ever been in my career over there, because this coach, he would just go at me for anything. I wasn't the best player by any means, but I was definitely not that bad that I would just get railed and hammered over and over and over and over again. I was thinking, what can I do? What can I do to make you happy? Like, I'm trying so hard. I got so frustrated. I remember one time after practice, I came home and my mom asked me like, do you even want to do this? And I just broke down and was like, I don't know what I'm doing wrong. Like, I'm trying so hard, Mom. I'm trying so hard, but everything is just going against me. Those people are just, they're not supporting me. And the same was with the teammates. Like, in an environment like this, if you play in an environment like this, everyone just looks out for themselves. And that's just how it is in the highest levels, in the highest environments. Of course, you have friends over there, but as soon as you step on the field, everyone just worries for themselves and is really responsible for themselves, because it's the elbows here, it's the elbows there. And I couldn't really cope with that. And I was too nice. I was too nice of a guy at the beginning. But at one point, there was a switch in me where I was like, fuck it. Fuck that coach. Fuck everyone. Because at the end of the day, I was like, how do I let a coach determine how I feel about myself? And that was when things started to change. Because I started to have confidence regardless of what he said to me. I started to play well regardless of what he said to me. I started to take those extra risks, be that player that I wanted to be, no matter what anyone told me. I started doing the extra work before going to school. I started eating more healthy, learning about nutrition, learning about the strength and conditioning side outside of practice. I was starting to do more, and I saw the rewards. However, that coach, for some reason, didn't saw anything, and he just did not like me. And that went on. And then the next year in my academy, I'm jumping a little bit in the time frame, because that was a really tough time for me. But I went through it, and I learned from it so much. I learned from it that coaches cannot determine how you feel. And that, like, looking back to it, it has given me so much, because since then, I'm just focused on myself. I'm just focused on whatever I can do. But fast forward again, I'm going into now we fast forward a couple of years, and I'm going into my final year as a youth player in the U19s at Borussia Mönchengladbach. And I came at a point where I was like, okay, what I always told myself was, if I'm not gonna go like for the big leagues, pro leagues right away, I'm not gonna be one of those guys that's not gonna study, play somewhere in the lower semi-pro leagues to kind of trying to make his way up. Like I want to go like study then. And to that point, I didn't even know that the US and the college system existed. But I got to know over a friend the college system, and I was like, oh, that's perfect. Play high level soccer plus get your studies. So I kind of took it into my own hands and said to the club, hey, like, I'm not going to continue next year here. I'm going to the States. I'm going to the States. To be 100% honest, I don't even know. I think I would have got cut either way, because like there was just not that next step for me to jump into that pro team, into the first Bundesliga team. I mean, you make millions there. Like I just didn't have it in me, to be 100% honest. And then I decided to go to the United States. I decided to go to the United States, and this is where the real journey begins now. And what happened there is, you work, when you come from Germany, you work with agencies that basically place you in universities, because we obviously don't know the system. So they get in touch with coaches, negotiating your scholarships. You get in touch with them and everything. So me, as being a pro academy player from Germany, I thought, hey, I would play at the highest level, and figured D1 was the highest level. But my agency placed me in a first year NAIA program. And that was where everything kind of started going downhill for me again, because once I started in this NAIA program, I got to the States with just being 18. Our head coach just left, the guy who recruited me. We were homeless for 3 weeks because they didn't have our housing ready. So we were sleeping with 6 guys with 18 guys in a 6-man apartment. That was crazy. Even thinking back at, oh my God, that was nuts. And what happened then was that I look back at all the hardship that I had during my time at my academy, and I was like, you know what? You can always transfer, because people were like, why are you here? Like, why are you in such? You should play D1 and everything. And I was like, no, I'm not ready to play D1. I'm not ready. Like, I would have gotten D1 offers. I'm not ready. I took it as a sign that I wasn't ready yet. And I remember being in between, again, getting caught by basically judging myself on the externals instead of knowing my self-worth, and being like, if I can put everything into getting a better player and doing everything that I can do to be the best version of myself, the rewards will follow. The rewards will come. And when that happened, what I did was, I didn't care that I was homeless. I didn't care that my school wasn't a real school, and we had rented out fields, and our school was an online school. We didn't even have a real campus. It was crazy. I'm telling you, it was crazy. But within 4 months, I went from not knowing shit about the US to actually become a defender of the year for my conference, and making it to the playoffs as well. Unfortunately, we lost in the semis, but that was just a great experience, and it was such as a testament to, you can achieve anything what you want. But I knew I was far, far, far away from where I wanted to go, because when I came to the States and I figured out the system, was like D1 is the highest level, I told myself, by the time I graduate, I'm going to have a full ride D1 scholarship, and I'm going to be a D1 starter. Fast forward 5 years, I made it. Little spoiler that I gave you at the beginning. No, but that was my big goal, and I was like, okay, after the season, hey, I won Defender of the Year. Let's go. I'm going to get it. I reached out to the first school, the second school, the third school, the fourth school. Got on calls with the coaches. Yeah, you good player. You seem good, but why are you playing NAIA? Good player. Why are you playing NAIA? Why are you playing NAIA? Why are you playing NAIA? Yes, we can't offer you right now. So all those coaches were, again, just judging me off the externals. They were saying, oh, your video looks good, but why did you go from a pro academy to an NAIA school? They didn't give me credit for anything. No one asked me about my Defender of the Year at all. They didn't give me credit for anything I've done. And that was a moment that was really, really hard, because I remember being on the phone with my parents. I talked a lot with my parents, still talk a lot with my parents nearly every day. And just being like, Mom and Dad, like, I've done everything. Like, I've tried over and over again, and again I got again I got the setback, and again I pulled myself out of the setback, but now life just throws another setback at me. Like, what am I gonna do? And I just kept believing, I kept reaching out to school, and again, this is for anyone who's out there and right now is struggling to get offers. It just needs one coach, one school. And that happened to be, for me, a school in California, a D2 in California, Biola University. Shout out to Coach Joey O'Keefe, where I went to. And he gave me an offer over 70,000 full ride scholarship. That was unbelievable. And he saw my value. He saw my real value. And he said, Jacob, I completely believe in you. I completely believe in you. And that was that one coach that I needed. That one coach that I needed that pulled me out of the pit of panicking and being like, what happens if I can't get it? Can't make it? What is going on there? Like, how is that gonna impact me? And that was really what I struggled with a lot. I struggled with a lot at the beginning, but then once he gave me that trust, I was like, all right, let's do it again. Let's do it again. Let's do it on the next level. Now I'm into the D2 level. Let's do it again. And I did it again. I did it actually again. I had a great season with them. Became newcomer of the year, first team all conference, first team all region. And that time again, I reached out to all the D1s. And that time they gave me credit because I've done it again. And this time a league higher. So I got offers here and there, over 15 D1 offers. I decided at the end to go from Gonzaga University in Spokane, Washington. They flew me in, had an amazing visit, was great coaches, everything great, everything set up. Again, a full ride. I got a full ride, and I would have gotten 17,000 cash on the hand for like living expenses. But that was amazing, like amazing offer. So I thought I made it. I thought I finally made it. I thought I finally had a D1, being a D1 athlete, being a D1 center back. Like, that was what my younger self dreamt of. That was what my younger self dreamt of. But then I was at that time, and it was after my fall season in my sophomore year, and I was supposed to go for my spring season for my sophomore year. I was supposed to go to Gonzaga. So I went home over the Christmas break, and 3 days before we're supposed to fly back to LA, pick up my stuff, then fly to Gonzaga, I get a call from the coaches. So they say, Jacob. I said, Coach, what's up? What's up? Like, I'm excited to come. You're not coming. I said, what? I'm not coming. Yeah, you're not coming. We're so sorry, but the NCAA just changed their transfer rules, and they made a transfer rule where you can just transfer once from a 4-year to a 4-year. It would have been my second transfer from a 4-year to a 4-year school. You're unfortunately ineligible for all NCAA schools. All NCAA schools. I was like, no way. No freaking way. And that was the moment, I have to say, guys, that broke me. That broke me because I was like, I've done, again, everything. I've even achieved it, and it got taken away from me for something I cannot control. Like, I kid you not, like, someone changed the rules that I got ineligible for some rule that was in place for 6 months, because afterwards they had so many lawsuits against it that they had to put it away again. But especially exactly in the 6 month where I was transferring, it was valid. So that was my lowest point, and that was also where it affected my game a lot. It got to a point where I started doubting myself. I started panicking at the ball. I started, maybe I'm not made for this, maybe I'm not good enough. I let the externals again, I fall into old habits, let the externals again control me. And it was over and over again. And just thinking back to it, it's really tough. It's really tough because I wasn't the player that I knew I could be. I wasn't the player that I knew I could be. Every time I got the ball in practice or in games, I would black out. And I could not find the reason why. I could not find out the pattern until it was like, you can play Summer League in America. And I was like, let's play Summer League, whatever. I don't have anything to do during summer. And I actually it was over a teammate who said, come with me to Texas. I have this cool team, super cool team, Laredo Heat. Shout out to Laredo Heat. If someone of you watched it, Rishi or Shashi, great guys. Played for Laredo Heat, USL 2. And he was like, oh, it's an awesome environment. You're gonna love it. It's super professional, so different than college. And everyone who played in the summer league knows how different like playing for a great summer league team is. And actually, there was a coach called Johnny Clifford. Johnny Clifford, until today, I would say a big mentor of mine, great coach. And he took me under his wing. He taught me a lot, even though sometimes I was listening in the quiet. But that summer gave me back my confidence. And that summer I realized again, you've been just looking at externals. You've not been looking at what you've achieved, what you already done in your short career, in your young career, without even like with so much hardship. Some players probably don't even experience that much in their whole career. You've gone through it as well, and you've probably done the same. And I've went from panicking, blacking out at the ball, just not knowing, and sitting down at the end of practice. I remember there was one practice, particularly in a spring season, where after the practice, I went down, I sat down, and I started crying. I was like, I don't know what's going on with me. Like, I know I'm so much better. I'm like, sorry, coach, that I can't think about that. Before that, like a couple months before, I was that guy. Like, I had 15 D1 full ride offers, and I went from being that guy to absolutely crushing out. Any time I became the ball, I was panicking. I didn't got the timing in my headers right. I would step in way too early in my 1v1s. I just try to make, and the biggest problem was I was trying to make up for all the mistakes. So it was just an endless loop of mistakes, because I did one mistake, I was like, oh shit, now I gotta make up for it. Try to play the crazy ball. Didn't work out. Oh no, now I have to play an even crazier ball. And it wasn't until I realized that I just have to be me. I just have to control the controllables, turn my focus within on the things that I can do and not on the externals in terms of what mistake I did, or what coach doesn't believe in me, or what offer I didn't get, what rule prevents me. Because at the end of the day, anyone can do it. Anyone can do it as I'm the greatest testament of it. So, but I ended up leaving Biola after the spring and going this time to Florida. Again, signing a full ride D1, full ride scholarship, because of my accolades this fall, luckily. And this summer, really, what I'm just talking about, to come back to the point where Johnny Clifford, again, was a big mentor of mine, I found myself again. And I played incredible. I got first team all-conference, first team all-region. I got nominated for the All-American Team of the Year nationwide. Didn't made it in there, but I was again like, dude, you're still that guy. And you might have those same experiences where you have those games or span of season or everything where you're like, I still got it. Like, what am I? Why is it not working? Like, what's going on? And that was another big turning point for me. A big turning point for me, where I realized this is not over yet. I'm gonna, at this new school, I'm gonna show you guys what I'm worth. And no matter if I get eligible again or ineligible, at least I'll finish my college career, have played to my absolute maximum, and I don't care where it is, what it's gonna bring me, but I've tried everything to be the best version of myself. So instead of chasing being D1, and this is where I got caught, I chased so much the title of a D1 player that I basically created a distance in between me and being a D1 player, because I wanted it so bad, but I basically told the universe that I don't have it yet. Instead, now I focused on being that player that is a D1 player, that I'm already in there, and I don't need the title of D1 to be a D1 player. I don't need the title of being D1 to become the best version of myself. And I had a great season at Florida. We won regular season conference. We won the conference tournament. I was first team all conference. We went to the national tournament in Kansas until the, I think, final 8, Elite 8. Yeah, in Kansas. It was an amazing time I had over there. And I completely released myself from the outcome of becoming a D1 player. And by surprise, the NCAA changed their rules, granted me another year of eligibility only in the D1 level. Think about it. I was not eligible for D2. The people who know, for like the NAIA year, you get another year of eligibility this year. And it was crazy. I was not eligible for D2 or NAIA. So the only level I could play my last year here was at the D1 level. And it was crazy how everything aligned. And again, I went on the transfer portal, and this time I got flooded with offers. And then I got in touch with Coach Tim. Thank you, Coach Tim, again for giving me this great opportunity here at UC Riverside. And it was we got along really well. By the way, and that's the crazy thing, you always see each other twice. I talked to Coach Tim after my freshman year, actually, where I talked to UC Riverside, and they were one of the schools that were saying, understandably, like, why are you playing NAIA? Like, there's not really why are you playing NAIA? There's no, that's too much of a big risk. And the same coach, the same school offers me $100,000 full ride scholarship for my final year at the D1 level, and I just finished the season with them, starting every game, or nearly every game. I think 17 out of 18 games I started, having the best season so far of my life. I played unbelievable in my opinion, and I was truly the best version of myself, and I was striving to be the best version of myself. And playing in an environment of a D1 is just unbelievable. We played in big stadiums in Michigan State, in front of crowds of 5,000 people. I get paid to play here. I live in my dream apartment. It's unbelievable. I got a pool, I got a gym in my apartment. Our school is insane how modern everything is. We have a school of 25,000 people. Like, it's going down here. It's absolutely incredible. I'm living in California. I have my own car. It's an absolute dream life of an athlete. Like, everything is there. Like, you get your post-game meals, you have your ice bath, recovery, you have your own physical trainer who's treating you all the time. Like, it's so professional. Everyone is locked in. Like, everyone is so locked in. Everyone is trying to become the best version of themselves. And that's also, if you're right now in an NAIA or D2 school, one big thing I struggled with was not necessarily the level of players as it was, but the level of professionalism. That was what was the biggest difference to the lower divisions to the D1. In D1, everyone has this mindset of, I want to be the best version of myself. I want to go to the next level. I want to continue improving. But some people, if you go to the D2 or NAIA level, they're content with them. They say, hey, I live in a nice place. I'm going to college in America. Like, I don't really need anything else. Like, and they just drive around, and you get caught sometimes being in the same environment. It was particularly tough for me sometimes to lock in and continue being the best version of myself, with everybody around me being like, Jacob, why are you doing this? Like, let's come on. You're a college student. Enjoy your life. Enjoy it. You can drink tonight. Come on, it's just one night. No, it's not just one night. It's the principle, man. It's the principle about one night turns into 2, 3, 4, 5. No, I've practiced tomorrow. I have my extra session scheduled tomorrow. I'm not going to drink tonight. And if you feel yourself in there, I can do the work. Do the work. Put in the work now and reap the benefits after, because I'm telling you, it's so amazing. It sets you up for life. Like, I just finished my last college season. I'm getting a great degree in my Master's of Finance. And that just because when shit was tough, I didn't let the externals overcome me and doubt me. I was doubting myself, but I went over that. I said, how can I get better? How can I get better so there's no way that anyone can doubt me? There's no way that I can't get that offer. Like, there's no possible way of me not making that next step. And I had guidance. Like, I would lie if I didn't have guidance. I had my coach, Johnny Clifford, who taught me so much about the mindset side of the game. But then I also invested in several coaches. I invested over $20,000. I didn't mention that earlier, because I wanted to talk more about this story, but I invested more than $20,000 in coaches and coaching, first for the mental game, but also for the physical side, to learn what it really takes to take that next step. Because at the end of the day, the greatest thing you can do is learn from others that have already gone the way that you want to go, and let them show you the path. Because there is someone that has already done it. If it's me or some other player or some other coach, there are players that have already done it. And there's so many pitfalls that I had to go through because of all the things that I couldn't control. But I can show you, for example, you can learn from my story, I hope, a little bit, or can relate. Because you don't have to do the same mistakes. It doesn't have to take you 3.5 years to become a D1 player if you could have already had it after your freshman year, or even going into college, coming out of high school. I've gone through all the pitfalls. I've been there blacking out when I got the ball. I've been there panicking every time coaches yelled at me, thinking, oh, he's going to kick me out of the team, I'm going to get benched. Absolutely freaking out after I do a mistake or something leads to a goal. Like, I've been through all those stages, but I also figured out how to get yourself out of it. What are the mental frameworks? What are the things that you can do to become that next version of yourself? So investing in coaches, having mentors, having players that I look up to. Karam Q from my freshman year, that was 2 guys I really looked up to. Then Isaac in my sophomore, he might not know it and he might never see that, but I looked up to him a lot. He was a great player. And at one point now I am the player other players look up to. Now I'm the guy that other players aspire to be and ask for advice. And along the way, I found my passion and I found my mission in coaching others, because yes, I had the hardship of going through a lot of adversity throughout my time in college. But also, I think I got the gift of adversity to now show others how to overcome theirs. Because I've probably, as I said, fallen every pit that there is. I've experienced every bit of it, of getting ineligible, to being homeless, to have coaches bench you in my youth academy for nothing, for not playing for a month, getting doubted, being ready, taking that opportunity when it arises. So I started actually coaching my peers around me, and that fulfills me the greatest, when I can take the learnings out of my journey and turn it into my mission of helping now other younger players and peers to achieve the same thing. For example, my guy Noah, he was the same, stuck in NAIA, same exact story. When we started working together, he came from Switzerland, was stuck in NAIA, and now played his last years now at the D1 UC Davis, and won his conference champion as a starter last year, leading his backline. Or Kivo, who went from being injured, already done with soccer, basically playing in NAIA, to now have played his last year at Bryant University, going to the Sweet 16. Another guy is Luca. Luca has been a friend of mine for a long time, and I took him under my wing. He now got drafted in the MLS. I'm about to do a video with him as well. He got drafted in the MLS. How crazy is that? Yeah, because we switched his mentality, we switched the way he did things, and that absolutely changed it for him. And I could tell Marek went from high school to signing for one of the top schools in the country, always nationally ranked, going to the national tournament last year. So I can tell you about 5-10 more other players, but that's my greatest mission, to now give back to the younger generation, to learn out of my story and share everything that I learned, all the little tips and tricks. Because if there's one lesson that I can give to you, everyone thinks there's this one big thing that you have to do to get a D1 player, to become that next version of you, to step out and be that leader and be that dominant defender, be that dominant center back. There's not one big thing. It's all those little things that compound into being that big one thing. So your nutrition, your training, how you treat your mind, and from what identity are you operating? Are you just trying to train more or eat healthier? Or are you actually being the D1 version of yourself, and therefore because you are the D1 version of yourself. This is why you eat the way you eat, why you train the way you eat, why you recover the way you recover, why you do your mental frameworks, why you have your visualizations, your breath work, your meditations. It's all those little things added up on each other that will make the big difference and make you into the player that coaches trust, into the player that is not panicking and blacking out at the ball anymore, and the player that plays confident with absolute composure. And that's what this system, what I call the center back blueprint, the modern center back blueprint, we have installed in all of my players that I work with, and it works wonders. It didn't just work for me; it works wonders because at the end of the day, we step into the identity of the player that we want to be. We define clearly the player that we want to be. As I define clearly, I want to be a D1 player. I want to be the D1 version of myself, the best version of myself. We identify what kind of player they want to be, and this is our starting point. Okay, how would that player eat? How would that player recover? How would that player do his visualizations or trainings? And from there on, it's normal for them. It's normal for them to compete at that level. It's normal for them to bring it onto the field every day, to do hard work as I do. It's normal for them to face adversity and jump back because that's just how they became. So that was basically my story, going from my hometown club, kind of outgrowing it, going into my first academy where I was benched a long time. Then within 3 weeks, everything changed because I kept on working hard even when I was benched. Got my opportunity, got scouted to one of the biggest clubs in German history, Borussia Mönchengladbach. Then had my hardship there with coaches, didn't believe in me. I would panic at the ball, I would black out, I would come to a point where I wasn't me anymore, where I wasn't the player that they scouted, to then going to the States, being homeless, getting ineligible after signing a D1 scholarship, to now have played as a D1 full right starter, earning over $350,000 in scholarships, $100,000 last year alone, and absolutely living my dream life of this professionalism. And it's a truly blessing, and I'm so thankful for everyone that was on my journey. And if you were part of my journey, I thank you from the bottom of my heart. Everyone has their place in my heart, and my mission from now on is just to inspire as many young center backs, as many young players to go the same path. Don't let anyone take you down. Don't let your thoughts take you down. Don't think only because you panic or doubt yourself right now at the ball that the world goes under and you're not good enough. No, you're not good enough. There's just mentally some things that you have to fix in order to step into identity that you want to be. And my mission is to help as many young players to step into that identity of the player that they want to be and become that next version of themselves. Because once you do, it's just inner peace. It sounds maybe a little bit corny, but it's inner peace. Like, I'm so content with me, and I'm so happy about what I achieved, and I'm still not ready. I want to become the biggest center back coach in the industry. I want to become the leader of center backs, helping every center back that needs help, and just giving back, becoming the biggest brand of center backs. And yes, so if you want to be part of that modern center back community, you can shoot me a message under jakob.schnitzler on Instagram. I will also link the profile in the description. And with that being said, thank you so much for listening. And if that just helps one person, if that just one person can relate to that, I've done my job, and I'm happy about it. I just want to inspire as many people as possible. Thank you so much for listening.